Record now.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Thalia Brown. I am here on behalf of the Authentic Discussion, a global gender equity focused think tank based in SDG 5. I'm here with Stephanie Klein, VP and co-chair of Zschool's Women in Leadership, and I'm excited to have her on this afternoon to talk about all things women in leadership. Stephanie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Talia. Wonderful to be here with you and super excited to get into this authentic discussion with you.
Thank you. And let's dial it back a little bit because today it's going to be a little bit more focused in gender equity, some of the principles within gender equity. We have a Women in Leadership program coming up in March, as well as we've got International Women's Day. And I really want to dive into some of the goals that I learned from my uh, visit to the UN last year. I went to the Commission on the Status of Women. It's called CSW. That session was the 69th session where we really dove into Beijing 30's platform for action and kind of what happened as we reconfirmed Beijing 30 plus and the reaffirming of the UN SDG goal to add additional women into leadership and to have that 2030 goal right on our horizon as it's now 5 years towards that goal and the goal of gender parity. We really want to focus in on board readiness, board parity, and what can we do as women who sit on a board, on a university board, to help strengthen those goals. So, Stephanie, without further ado, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Absolutely. My pleasure, Talia. And I just want to start off by saying the incredible work that you are doing with the UN and really moving forward, moving the needle forward on gender parity. And of course, board parity is absolutely phenomenal. So thank you so much for all of the action that you're taking, even with this beautiful podcast and your think tank. That's exactly what we all need to see more of. So thank you for all of the amazing work that you're doing as well.
Thank
And-
you.
Yes, and in terms of just sharing with your audience a little bit more about myself, really, I take creating positive impact every single day super seriously. So that is really my mission in my life. And so the way I do that is through my role as co-chair of the Women in Leadership with AI Driven Engagement program, which is a national executive education certification program. And I also serve as an instructor, not only for strategic AI from the executive education certification point of view, but also across multiple AI specialty programs, and also serve in the capacity as VP of Board Experience for Zschool. And so, really super excited to be here with you today. And, it's a pleasure because what I do on a day in, day basis is uh, facilitate and moderate more than 500 advisory board meetings annually for more than 40 universities across more than 10 programs across the country. And it's just exciting to really know that I have the opportunity to make positive impact across the board to more than 10,000 senior executive professionals and C-suite executives uh, around the world on an annual basis. So thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And that's a fantastic way to open the conversation, Stephanie. I think your impact is seen,
Thank
right? It's been 3 years that I've been a program advisor for Zschool. You've seen me on two separate boards. And for those of us who are out there who are interested in being able to serve as a university program advisor, what would be your best advice? I think you and I've talked a bit. You've had four strategic ways somebody could join a board.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Taya. There are four primary methods. One of course, that we see most often is where a senior executive leader or executive professional within a company or organization sponsors an aspiring or emerging leader on their team to earn the certification while they themselves serve in an advisory board seat. Okay, so that's one of the methods. The other method is we do actually have many executive professionals that are definitely earning these certifications for themselves as part of that living IDP or individual development plan initiative that many, many companies have embraced and will continue to embrace throughout 2026. Another way that others can serve as a university program advisor is by submitting a 2 to 3 minute digital or, of course, video case study to help bolster and improve our executive education programs. By offering relevant real life scenarios that our executive learners can actually learn from within the program themselves. And then, fourth, and certainly last but not least, and that is definitely those advisors that are willing to serve as champions, ambassadors, and advocates to the university they serve and the program they serve by really taking a concerted effort to socialize the university and the program itself.
Great, thank you. And just to kind of talk through that, what's your vision for executive education and where do you see women in leadership and why do you feel like it's so important to continue to push this forward, specifically within today's climate?
Absolutely, Taya. Now, this is where you and I, and more than likely your audience, are really going to come into total alignment and agreement because my vision for women in leadership is in direct alignment with not only the UN's 2030 initiatives, but also with the World Economic Forum's initiatives and also I have to tell you, I love what the EWOB is doing. That's the European Women on Boards, and their support of the UK's commission, where they're completely dedicated to seeing at least 40% of women on boards by the end of 2026. That is such an amazing goal. And, I would like the United States of America to follow the UK's lead on this endeavor and this initiative because I'm super passionate about ensuring, just like you are, about seeing board parity and, of course, gender equity as we move forward 2026 to 2030 and beyond, for sure.
And I echo your sentiment. I think that a lot of women strive to get to that place in their career where they can serve on a board. I think what Zschool is doing is giving women that chance that maybe they couldn't be on a particular corporate board, but they can be at a university board. And that is that next step in their career. Let's talk a little bit about board readiness and what are some of the things that Zschool is doing to ensure that women are board ready.
Absolutely. This is a fantastic question. I love your question. I'm gonna go a little deep on this one, maybe
Please
in.
do.
Yes, yes. Okay, number one, we have some brand new programs that we're rolling out for 2026 that I truly believe will be instrumental for women and board readiness. Number one is we are rolling out a program called How to Be Irreplaceable in the Age of AI. Now, this program alone is going to, I believe, allow women to really gain a competitive advantage in the marketplace as we move forward. And this is really not only for women, this is for anyone listening. This program, this is what everyone is looking for. There's such high demand. So, whether it's how to be irreplaceable in the age of AI, whether it's really learning the foundational basics and level setting knowledge through AI literacy, proficiency, and security.
Hmm.
This is another element of artificial intelligence that we definitely need to be talking more about as we move into 2026 and beyond, especially that governance piece. And then also AI agents for change. So, in terms of board readiness, not only do we have some cutting edge programs that are going to launch in Q1 2026, alongside women in leadership with AI driven engagement and strategic artificial intelligence, as you know, but also inside the advisory board experience, there's a couple of other opportunities that we offer. Every single board advisor gains complimentary access to a mentor of their choosing if they, of course, are led to participate. So while participation is not required, it is encouraged, and we really do a phenomenal job at matching mentors and mentees across all levels of leadership. And we have a 99.5% accuracy match rate. And we have been really moving forward with the mentoring piece of this for 3 years now. So really great experience overall. And also inside of the actual advisory board meetings, which you could definitely speak to, Talia,
Sure.
each advisory board meeting breakout group session, one advisor per breakout session does have the opportunity to volunteer in the capacity of the leader and the presenter of that conversation, where we ask that presenter to present a 2 to 3 minute high level executive summary of what the group collaboratively discussed in that 45-minute breakout. So, one of the best ways to get board ready is to raise your hand and volunteer as a presenter, presenting executive summaries in 2 to 3 minutes, where you're drilling down and distilling 45 minutes of comprehensive substantive information into just 2 to 3 minutes. That alone prepares women for executive leadership positions.
It certainly does. It really addresses the executive presence as well as future of work, right? And I think that pivot into AI and how you guys are really starting to into make that a part of the integral offering with Zschool is really going to position anyone, woman or man, for success.
Yes, absolutely.
So I want to talk a little bit about the past 2 weeks where we had the election season. Obviously, we in New York had a very big major milestone for us in terms of changing of the guard. But I think Z School is doing something really innovative with political participation and making sure that women have a chance to get into um, the political arena. And I'd love for you to talk a little bit about that.
Thank you so much, Talia. And this is yet another subject. This is a passion project that was presented to me. And once I heard of it, I said, unequivocally yes. There was no hesitation. There was no lag time. It was a yes from the start. And that's where one of our program advisors, she is a Amanda Tinsley. She serves in the House there in Minnesota. And she serves on the MNSU Mankato Women in Leadership with AI Driven Engagement board as an advisory board member. And she set up a one-on-one with me, and she asked me, she said, we have an initiative in Minnesota. We really like to lead from the front. And we want to know, would you be willing to invite the women in leadership advisors into a complimentary workshop or webinar where we're discussing women for office and
Mm.
preparing women to run for office for 2026 for midterms? And I said, well, of course, it has to be bipartisan from this seat for sure. And I said, she says, yes, it is. And I said, oh, well, if it's bipartisan, the answer is yes. And so I'm pleased to definitely share it with your audience today, Talia, that on November 4th, Tuesday, November 4th, it was actually election day, and also Saturday, November 8th, we held two workshops for women for office where we provided any woman in the state of Minnesota that was interested in learning more about how to successfully run for office, whether that be how to successfully campaign, how to get properly registered, providing resources, support, and encouragement for that potential run in 2026. That is what we did. And I was just super excited to co host that with Amanda.
And that's awesome, Stephanie. Really, like that's really taking um your words and really bringing them home, right? And I feel like that's so needed right now. A lot of schools and universities shy away from political participation because that is really the ugly elephant in the room, and a lot of people don't want to go there, right? They want to back away from it, and to see Zschool leaning in and taking that really positive step forward to kind of reinvigorize people to want to get out there and participate is phenomenal. I really
Absolutely.
think that what you're doing with the university and with this executive education program is just phenomenal.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's our pleasure to participate in those bipartisan initiatives for sure.
Absolutely. And let's talk a little bit about the future of executive education. What are some key priorities for Z School as you look to the next 5 years? And we've got that goal of 40% board parity.
Absolutely. So, what we're doing in this regard, Taya, is we're actually integrating more and more actual real world experience, real world case studies, applicable resources and tools where women who are serving on the board and who are earning those executive education certifications. As professional learners can then they're not only checking a box. In essence, our goal is always to deliver enormous value, positive impact, enormous value, so that as you're earning the certification, you are immediately able to download the Women in Leadership Ultimate Toolkit, and also, as it pertains to strategic AI, you're able to download the Strategic AI Ultimate Toolkit, and we have so much more coming. We have playbooks that really help everyone integrate AI into their organizations and really come into alignment with their company and organization's KPIs to where those initiatives for growth can be scaled efficiently.
That's excellent. That's
Yeah.
excellent. And lastly, I would say, your advice for women, right, in terms of where do we go from here? It's been a rough couple of months. Last year or so, right, where we have seen a lot of things change with women's rights. I don't want to get too political. Obviously, we're not going to go down the rabbit hole of what's happening in the government, but I think from one of the programs that have stayed around, honestly, to be frank, and hasn't been absolved, what advice are you giving to women who are looking to continue to blossom in their career and want to be able to have the tools to do so?
Absolutely. Okay, Taya, I'm going to lean in for this one because this is one of my favorite topics. Okay, in terms of best advice. So, and this is a perfect time that this podcast, your podcast is going live because it's going to give all of your viewers time to really think through our conversation today and prepare themselves for 2026 and beyond. So, here's some great tips for how all of your listeners can prepare themselves as we move forward. Number one, some of the companies that are leading the way in terms of digital proof of certifications, digital proof of credentials, digital proof of subject matter expertise, uh, I love. One of my top examples is IBM and Kyndryl. Kyndryl is a $40 billion spinoff of IBM. Most people don't realize that, but it is. And so IBM definitely utilizes and is a Credly partner, but there's other partners as well, like Badgely. And what happens is every team member is given a direct link to showcase all of their badges, all of their certification, every time they were a recognized speaker and presenter, every time they were a teacher and educator, every time that internally within their organization they earned any type of certification that they could import through Credly or Badgely, it's all there. Now, what this does is it allows those that have access to these kind of platforms to immediately show just how impactful their learnings have been by showcasing what I consider demonstratable growth mindset. Demonstratable growth mindset. And so, for all those listening, maybe you work with a company, maybe you work with an organization that does not have Credly integration, that does not have Badgely integration. That's okay. I'm going to give you an alternative right now today because I want everybody to have access. This is about leveling the playing field and making sure everyone can compete and use and leverage what they have to really ensure that they are being seen as a highly qualified candidate for any position that they are applying for. And so, what I would recommend for anyone who has a Google Share Drive or a OneDrive, right, to just go in and start making copies, PDF copies of all of your credentials, all of your degrees, all of your certifications, any articles you've written, any presentations you've done, and just start dropping copies of everything that you've done into a Google Share Drive. And you can go to the share button and just literally click, instead of restricted, toggle down, click accessible to anyone with this link. Now, when you do that, if you're applying, whether you're applying for a university program advisory board seat, whether you're applying for a new position, whatever it is that you're applying for, what you're going to do is, in essence, you are embracing the idea that you are removing all friction to your acceptance of your application. Now, what do I mean by this? We are definitely moving into more and more a frictionless process and frictionless frameworks. This is going to be imperative for improving efficiency. And so by doing this, you are literally including a masked link in any type of cover letter or any type of application where anyone who is reviewing your application can easily click that Google Share Drive link or that OneDrive link, and literally it opens and they see all of your credentials, all of the work, your entire portfolio that you want them to see. They can see it and they can instantaneously, Talia, they can instantaneously tell that you are qualified for the position that you're applying for.
I have to echo that because formerly I was a recruiter, not only in consulting, but in financial services and in tech. And a lot of times, people weren't packaged. They were just kind of all over the place, a little messy, a little just trying to get it done. And it came across as just that, right? And with what you're offering in some of these suggestions, that's going to help improve someone's speed to hire, speed to apply, get them through the process a bit faster. We're moving so much more in a digital age where now AI is the first layer of reviewing someone's background, that you really just want to have it packaged in a way where it gets through the initial screen and gets its way to the recruiter. So I thank you for that. And I think that that's going to be really helpful to anyone that's listening to today's podcast.
Thank you so much, Taya. And one other suggestion, super helpful suggestion for your audience today, in terms of really making sure that we're providing women, especially, with the tools and resources they need to really ensure that they're shining throughout 2026 and beyond. And that would be I cannot even believe this is a real stat, but it is. And that is only 1% of all team members throughout all companies and organizations that offer tuition assistance benefits. In my world, we call it TAB, but tuition assistance benefits or learning and development stipends. Only 1% of team members actually utilize the and leverage the fullness of their benefits. Now, some companies and organizations, they only cover undergraduate degrees, graduate degrees, doctorate programs, etc. But many companies and organizations do cover university backed accredited certifications that we offer. Now, in this particular regard, what I would highly recommend is right out of the gate in Q1 2026 when all of those benefits are refreshed for the new year. And of course, if we're talking about, of course, public positions, they're on fiscal years most often. And so they have a different a calendar schedule for their tab and L&D that, of course, ends on August 30th of every year. But many companies and organizations are offering the renewal of these benefits at the beginning of the year. One of the best ways that I can really provide best advice for your audience is to say, if you have the ability to go ahead and register for an executive education certification program, an additional training program that your company or organization is going to pay for, and you're going to be able to get reimbursed for that, plan to do it now. Because in essence, what you can do is you can leverage that learning and carry it through the entire year in terms of that living IDP document. So every time your team lead inside your own company or organization is saying to you, "Oh, share with me a little bit more about, what you're learning, how are you developing, etc." Then what you can do as a team member is you can say, "Oh, you will be so pleased to know that I have already registered for the Women in Leadership with AI Driven Engagement program or the Strategic AI program or How to Be Irreplaceable in the Age of AI. And let me share with you how this program is directly connected and correlated to how we are going to achieve our KPIs for this year and my dedication and my commitment to growth mindset and continuously learning and development so that I can be the very best for the team." And so I would highly recommend maximizing and leveraging tuition assistance benefits and learning and development stipends that you have within your organization and making sure you come out of the gate with those registrations.
Thank you. I want to ask difficult and touchy subject,
Yes.
but we have to talk about it. People are being laid off. There's
Yes.
there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people being laid off daily, quarterly, weekly. Let's say you're someone coming out of a layoff situation. What would you recommend in that case? And the company may have given you severance, may not be able to sponsor you. What would you do in that situation?
Absolutely. This is such a great question. So, in this type of situation where the funding is not there are, in terms of earning certifications and future skilling, there are so many companies and organizations that are offering free trainings now. They may not be university backed, but they are definitely worthy certifications. So I'm just going to share with you. I know for a fact that Google, Microsoft, NVIDIA, they're all offering free training, free certification, well, certificates of completion, so COCs. So, what I would highly recommend to your audience, to anyone listening, is that if you are in a niche specific area and you are really looking to ensure that you're doing everything that you can to stay marketable, right? As we move forward, I would highly recommend ensuring that you're doing as much as you possibly can in terms of those complementary trainings that some of the best are offering today.
Yeah. I have done some myself. I won't say which one. I think some people know I'm a McKinsey Forward alumni. That's a free pro bono training that helps people with emotional intelligence and with future skills. But I think that there's many others like that out there that people can take advantage of, especially if they're in between and they're looking to continue to stay sharp and ready for that next role. But Stephanie, I wanted to thank you. Unless there's any final thoughts that you want to leave um, with the guests,
Yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
uh, One reminder, which would be, is even if you're going to earn some of the free COCs, certificates of completion, from some of these other companies and organizations, whatever you do, save the PNG, right? Normally you get a PNG file of the digital credential. Whatever you do, save it and add it to your Google Share Drive so that you can then share that with others. So that's what I would definitely say, is making sure whatever trainings you're doing, get those, get all of that proof, that documentation saved as a PDF or saved as a PNG if it's an image or whatever it may be, and then get that into your shared drive so that you can share that out with others. And number two, I just want to take this a brief moment to share with your entire audience how much I admire you, how much I respect what you're doing in terms of your think tank and your podcast, and these authentic conversations, because in essence, going back to how we started the episode, which is really talking about all the great work that you're doing with the UN, and how we're really actually preparing now for National Women's History Month and International Women's Day in 2026. For your audience who may not be aware, IWD, International Women's Day 2026, the theme will be Give to Gain. And also for National Women's History Month, the theme is Leading the Change, Women Shaping a Sustainable Future. And so I want to thank you, Talia, for everything that you're doing, because obviously, with your podcast, with your think tank, you are an example of a woman in leadership who is leading by example. You're taking action. And even this podcast, even your think tank, is you demonstrating what it means to give of your time, to give of your energy, to give of your devotion, to gain. And in this regard, it's a collective gain. And so thank you so much for the beautiful work that you're doing. And then also, how beautiful is it that we're going to be embracing that sustainable
Yeah,
women shaping a sustainable future, and everything that you're doing with the UN in that regard. So I would just share to anyone out there that's listening, I should say to all those who are out there listening, that you're doing great work, and I really genuinely appreciate you having me on the podcast today. And I'll leave it there. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. And I'll just leave one final thought. I think as a former recruiter and as a current coach, if you're not making a difference, what are you doing, right? Where's your impact? I've seen so many women like myself who get lost in the shuffle of not knowing what their next step is, that look to recruiters or look to other people who may not have the ability to equip them with the right skills or give them the right level of motivation. So this is my way of honoring those types of women who just haven't had that extra coaching or extra um, pivot or that support to pivot. So for me, this is my way of doing something that's meaningful for myself because I've been there, I've done that, and just wanting to make sure that there's a footprint in the world out there for someone else that needs it.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Talia.
Thank you, Stephanie, and thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you.